And here's another message for this Sunday. I believe it's the 21st of March, 2021. So again, we have 21. And well, as you all have heard me repeatedly say every day from Mount Shasta, ego is toast, no butter. So now the people that were there have learned this in the most blatant of ways with their attempt that was very successful. Bravo! You were successful at robbing yourselves of the victory, because let me put it this way. Now the only hope on earth is true love. Because as you have witnessed today, there's not one country that is well. So the whole planet is in turmoil, from the British women raging on the streets due to the cops having killed Sarah, which is abominable. I mean, they're like, we don't feel safe, we don't feel protected, which I can completely empathize with. And now, mind you guys, because I am Aurora, Mother of New Creation, no matter how badly many people want to deny me and how badly Iran and co wants to deny me, etc., including, the United States, Russia, now everybody is in total denial except for Planet Fitness, it seems. Ha ha. So every feeling you put me through will reverberate billionfold on all in creation and will reflect on each and everybody out there, meaning all these people here in the United States that made me pay rent for many months and many properties where I even had a lease, but they would just get in, one of their hired hookers from other nations to take me down via the black magic, making my boyfriends cheat, rendering my boyfriends into clown mongoloids who would like fidget and be all over the place if I'm in the room, because they were always monitored by the Russian and German cameras in every space. And if they don't comply with their girlfriends from, wherever, even Costa Rica, etc., then, they would be mocked, because it was very cool for many years to mock me. So if you want to be cool in America, you have to mock me. That was like the main, staged game because of Jonah's complex with the Totayana thing. And apparently this was decided like long ago. So the only reason why David brought me here was to have his former wife, Christine, the German, who didn't speak a word of English when he met her on a bus in LA, he had me wear the clothing of that being, even when I resisted. I didn't want to wear any clothing that wasn't my own. Then he forced my clothes in the closet. He forced this agenda of black magic on me, and he let his people from Hilton Head, the Sarasotans here that you all know by now, come down and also implement their, food poisoning, black magic, drug lords, etc., just to make me look like you all view me today, and you've all judged me because of whatever content I posted when I was down under a tree being beaten to death. And I said a few words, and now everybody's, going, oh, we don't want her because this and that and whatever. Fine. Bravo. I mean, I pray this doesn't happen to any of your children or daughters or sons under any circumstance in any foreign nation, because none of you knows the heartbreak that this entails. Oh, I pray none of your wives gets into a coma and then your child, God forbid, gets recruited on Facebook by some mongoloid with an agenda that's gonna, use your daughter for these purposes. So they used me to get the, German agenda to then be passed on to the Russian. And apparently they all knew it from the start. Like, it was already pre-planned for me to just go to Shasta, and they had prepared their, Louisiana French colony people with, very violent demeanor upon hello for me at the house to, take me down at any cost and then threaten me. So every death threat that I received, every deportation threat, every time I was renting a space, paying legally, as part of a group who were paying the same amount as me, but I ended up sleeping on yoga mats on the floor, you know, being attacked at night, stolen blood from, and everything. All this now will happen again on a larger scale, all over, until this karma that you wished upon me is terminated, atomically speaking. You cannot bypass the divine laws of spirit and the soul rules of the kingdom and the queendom of heaven as established on earth, because it's not going to happen otherwise. There's not going to be one day, you know, Archangel Michael come from the sky, blow a horn, and Jesus. It's not going to happen like, you know, the whole Christianity thing now, that in itself is anti as well, life on earth, as well as all the religions under the sun. None of that is congruent to evolution. And I have already offered my technology to the American government during Trump, but I was made chick of, and, you know, I was sent every possible evil person that showed me the true faces of the 12 tribes of Israel and beyond, like all the hatred and the crucifixion and all the evil intent of everybody was shown to me face to face for face value. And now I have come to a place of acceptance. So I have accepted that America's will is to apparently not be the leader of all nations in terms of pioneers for evolution, because plus they told me from Louisiana onwards, we are anti-evolution and we are anti-twin flames, and that's the people who went to Shasta. So all I can do is, you know, pray that, you know, all the people who wished me ill health and wealth and who lied to me upon my return from you know, California, the last, you know, the time when I came back here, January 16th, 2020, they already started to talk to me on Facebook. They're like, yeah, somebody's going by your name, and they're like, what happened in Tennessee when you went there? And nobody told me in words that they married somebody off as yourself. And so all America lied to me. Now, you know, some of the news are like broadcasting news like Biden is trying to be opposing of these people entering the frontiers, while other people are saying that he's encouraging that to gain votes. So they're saying that all these people now entering the country via the frontiers are going to be flown to facilities in Texas and Virginia or at the frontiers of Canada to be processed. Now, you know, this can go either way. Either, you know, since they're investing and paying money to put bodies in a plane to send them places, since their detention facilities cannot contain all these bodies, etc., and they're sleeping on the floor, it's whatever's going on there, they can always fly them back where they came from, to the countries they came from. Or the next scenario would be, you know, the older timers Americans will finally get over their differences, because now there's a lot of, you know, broadcasts where, you know, black people are teaming up and going, there's too many whites in this room, we want like exclusive black colleges. So now they are doing the reverse side of the coin. So now it's all those bottled up feelings for eons that are coming out, atomically speaking. And, you know, in David terms, his grandmother used to tell him that they are going to eat his heart out alive. So this is happening now on many levels, meaning he never said that, like, I wasn't even allowed to even think in terms of breeding a child in the United States while I was his wife. You know, not here, not under poverty. And I was never poor, but it was just staged in order to get their agenda of granting my identity to the Russian and proceeding forward with sending me back to Lebanon to get me married as a, you know, Muslim underlying tone, with the Jonah guy having 2 wives, one here stolen my American citizenship and me there. And they actually somehow thought I was going to comply to that absurdity. So I've been praying today all day, because on my end I have a lot of trouble comprehending what you guys are midgeting behind the scenes. Like, I understand now that you're all divided into color schemes. So there's like the orange team, the blue team, the white team, the black team, the red team, the whatever, green. And each of you endorse some sort of, you know, guy that you think is going to be best suited. Or I don't know what you're midgeting. I have no comprehension of ego mind stratas at all. And you know, you also implement that through the food thing, through the behavioral thing, through like they follow me around, they into the restrooms, and you know, I work out on this machine at the gym, then they have to sit there. I don't know what that assists you with, but you have been successful at delaying full planetary liberation, etc. Now, on another hand, Lebanon is at the edge of collapse. Like, I've been emailing the embassy to no avail. They can't even respond to me because their last token was that my brother was going to buy me a ticket right before my passport expired so that I can go there and I can comply with their plan of, you know, getting this double marriage where you will never get world unity if countries like Lebanon, say when I was married here and I went there to renew my papers as well as I was continuing my green card here, over there I got registered officially as celibate, so they didn't even acknowledge my American wedding and husband. So by that token they wanted to, you know, use the laws of the fraud, you know, world countries now against each other. So like, not just like they've been using now in the United States, like when I'm in Texas they rob me of this and that and whatever because the Texan rules will not respond to me in those terms. Then when I'm in Miami, they'll rob this. Then when I'm in LA, they'll do that. Then when I'm in Carolina, that's how they'll rob me because they're using the laws of each individual state against human soul laws of the divine covenant and plan, because they've denied my covenant at source, which was the whole purpose of them bringing me here, to extract my divine mother name, galactic covenant, and why I'm here. So by the moment that they found that out, they worked with all their minions from the yoga world onwards to deroot that and dumb down the people as much as possible and make you all loathe me in many ways and mock me and bully me, etc., for this to pan out. Now, it is abhorrent that up until last night, after everything I'm still going through, and mind you everyone, every other night that I'm sleeping or that my stuff is in a vehicle and I'm unsafe in a parking lot, and there's many incidents that happen, like smashed cars, and there's cars that drive by at night, and there's always police around, which I appreciate. And every other night that I'm in these conditions is another night on earth where more people are hungry, sleeping on streets, in detention centers. Women are raising their voices. There's more police brutality. Now there's an impending, a war threat between Israel and Hezbollah, who now rules Lebanon, and Lebanon is at the brink of collapse. Like, every citizen there is not allowed to take out of the debit machines more than $15 a week, because when the Sunnites came to Fort Lauderdale and threatened me, they're like, if you don't go back now, we're gonna make you vanish. And that's when they locked down my account ending in 4252. Then the TD Bank here with the Toronto authorities stole that money to give to Russia. So this general conglomeration against me, your mother of new creation, that you may try to still deny, but proof is in the pudding, is only going to every day reverberate against you as individuals and your children. Because think about it, what have you won? Everybody who lied to me, what did you win? Now you made the planet way more unsafe for you, your kids, your pets, and your forefathers, and you lost just because you wanted to spite me, because you thought it was really hilarious to be jealous of me and be competitive and use your ego mind against me and steal my technology from me, never pay me back in an equal energy exchange. So it reversed on the whole planet. And just like the first time scenario, the dark aliens came down and chopped your brains in two and installed ego mind. Well, now the whole planet is in turmoil. Every nation is on the streets crying, and this is continuing. And in my terms, I know that, there's an expectation of me to choose this path or whatever, and basically there's a very phallic fixation on like who I'm gonna fuck or whatever, it so seems, to undo this, COVID-19 thing. And the vaccinations, this is not the solution. This is like putting, you know, a bandana. You know, this is not getting to the root cause of things. This will not lead, you know, this is like how they say, you know, I forgot the word, but like when you're sick, they'll just give you a piece of candy, tell you that this is medication, and then you will say, oh, my headache is gone. So it's just a band-aid, what's going on. Now, apparently there's a movement that's trying to also make me go to Britain, you know, and that's what the South Africans came against yesterday, sent by, you know, Jonah, who had sent the Jono South African back in the day, because him and Totiana want to win at any cost, no matter how badly this looks on creation. It's just a matter of ego. Like, they fell into deep traps of ego. They just want to justify their actions at any cost and win at any cost. You know, they failed Hollywood, which was supposed to be Holywood. When I was there, I got all the visions of all the angels on the boulevard, but everybody found it hilarious to mock me in the ego mind world. Like, every time I'd go back to Hollywood, all the young cool kids would like piss themselves laughing on the boulevard, because I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't know that when I went to Tennessee, this is what happened. Everybody knows everything, but I'm always the last to know because of this, you know, special, you know, agenda of those hookers that sent me death threats and deportation threats and restraining orders threats just because they wanted to get their cake and eat it too and breed and just capture the souls of these men at my detriment and everybody else's detriment and their nation's detriment and everybody else. And everybody that supported that now is struggling. Everybody's cansada, everybody's tired, everybody's slaved up. Like every, you know, waitress that's trying to, you know, nigger me too, like in every bartender and whatever, they're going, yeah, those are crack fries because they're Scorpio, and they're like, yeah, we fuck every night. And well, what are you winning? Now you're working like a slave, and then, you know, when they talk real to somebody next to me, they're like, yeah, it's been a long day, we're tired. Well, you're standing for the wrong things. All of you, you're all in ego and you're in bullshitting. So I, you know, also thought that maybe if you don't send those people back on planes where they came from, maybe the American people will come together and play the role of the nurturing, you know, advanced people who will nurture these illegal immigrants into the communities. Because think about it, most of them are like young kids that can't really even speak English. They have COVID, they don't have parents, now they have, you know, severe issues of like lack of belonging, etc. How are you going to integrate them to your communities to make them an asset to your economy, instead of just, you know, raising them to reach the voting age for them to vote for your party, which is only becoming political at this point. It's only becoming a political race. And on another topic also, if you come to think of it, you know, I would highly recommend, like, before you elect any president, you have to make sure he is humanly capacitated to be human. So if you watch, you know, Biden's body, the hips are not positioned correctly. He had to fall 3 times on the steps of a Air Force carrier. He can't even climb up a set of stairs. It's a cardiac issue. His heart is failing him, because there's only so much you can do in wrong action by, you know, denying me of my rights, simply put. And the more that's delayed, the more you're going to fall into the abyss. So before electing any president, you know, they have to be aligned, chakras, meridians aligned, before he's Democrat or Republican. Is he human to begin with? You know, or is he all full of parasites and entities and archons and just standing for whatever? And then there's a lot of discrepancies, like, you know, regarding racism and regarding things that he had said in the past that are now being completely, you know, unsaid by him and Harris. Both of them are just like denying a lot of things just to, you know, it's become a battle for power. And, you know, it's the revolution of the so-called pissed off people that just are going to eat America's heart out. So that's the whole atomic movement now of everybody crawling in through the frontiers to get a piece of that, not knowingly, you know, not knowing what they're getting themselves into. That's on those topics, you know. So I don't know who the people that want to relocate me to Britain would be. And at this point, you know, I can't stand for any. The Constitution is no longer even being applied right now, per se, and they're talking about a reformed Constitution, but they don't really know how to do that, and I'm not feeling any urge to budge. Like, I'm not biting anywhere. Like, I'm not biting any anchor or any hook. Like, oh, why don't you apply for the COVID relief? Then you'll have. And I know that this is leading to Lebanon's collapse, per se. And they're talking about a new government there, etc. And I've already offered my services to the embassy here. I'm like, I'm here and I can present surgeries, and I recommend that every person in the Lebanese, whatever, gets a session. I'm gonna have to cut this short, and I'll continue. There's many more points to raise.